In daily life, we often assume that spiritual progress or Paramartha and worldly responsibilities Prapancha are incompatible, pulling us in opposite directions. But this is a misunderstanding. True spirituality doesn't ask us to abandon the world, it asks us to carry out our worldly duties with awareness, surrender, and moral integrity, always keeping God in our hearts. This day's reflection is an invitation to rethink our approach to life, to see how Prapancha, when rightly handled, becomes a ladder to Paramartha. Good books are those that inspire the reader with love for God and wean him away from the mundane. Good books induce us to eschew immoral behavior and to walk in God's way. It is most important to read such books and meditate on them, act upon them. This gradually creates a liking, fondness, love for God. Of the different means advocated by Shree Samartha for the attainment of God, reading of such books is one. Reading, however, is not merely browsing through idly, purposelessly, but making an earnest effort to understand and assimilate. One must make a serious effort to put into practice what one understands and agrees with. Mere voluminous or voracious reading without appropriate action to follow is futile. Not casual reading, but rumination is required. The pathway to God is straightforward. The way in Prapancha is strewn with thorns and boulders. Prapancha should be treated as necessary for practice only and training in Paramartha. On the contrary, we put them the other way round, and the hedge has overgrown the field instead of protecting it. The sooner we realize our folly, the better. One who carries on Prapancha with an eye on the correct goal will undoubtedly attain to God, just as sugar molded into the shape of even a bitter-tasting fruit will ever taste sweet. Similarly, even if we go through Prapancha, it will achieve Paramartha provided we keep God as the target. Paramartha is definitely possible because, that is what we are born for, and it is in our own interest that we never lose sight of this lodestar. Just as the mouth is the venue for feeding ourselves, moral conduct is sine qua non for Paramartha. It is in fact the very foundation. It is true that mere morality is not Paramartha, but evidently no edifice can stand without a proper foundation, and there can be no Paramartha without the firm base of moral conduct. We should think of Paramartha with the same sincere care and affection with which we look upon our own child, and treat Prapancha with the affection that we bestow casually and outwardly on another's child. Paramartha, in the ultimate analysis, is nothing else but going merrily through Prapancha remembering God. Sant Morya Gosavi, one of the foremost saints of the Ganapatya tradition in Maharashtra, truly embodied the harmony between Paramartha and Prapancha. Although he was deeply devoted to Lord Ganesha and recognized as a spiritual luminary, he managed to live a balanced life, juggling household duties, public service, and intense devotion. One telling incident from his life really reflects this beautiful synthesis. Morya Gosavi was, a householder saint. He had a family and was involved in commerce in Chinchwad, yet he never lost sight of the divine. Every morning before opening his shop, he would first visit the temple of Lord Ganesha, clean the premises with his own hands, and then sit in silent worship. His business hours never began without prayers. It is said that he considered every customer a form of the Lord and treated everyone with love and fairness. Once, during a financial crisis, someone asked him how he could remain so calm and detached despite the struggle. He smiled and said, "This business is only the outer occupation. My real work is to keep my heart anchored in Ganesha. Let the waves of the world come and go. I am not shaken because I have surrendered the results to him." Eventually, Morya Gosavi renounced household life and entered into deep tapas, but he had already shown that one can live amidst Prapancha and still be rooted in God. The life of Sant Morya Gosavi reminds us that Paramartha and Prapancha are not adversaries. If Prapancha is approached with detachment, surrender, and a spiritual outlook, it becomes a means of purification, training, and inner evolution. We should not run away from the world, but infuse it with God consciousness. Let Prapancha be our field of service and learning, but let Paramartha be our breath, our goal, our joy. That is, I think, the essence of the teaching for today. Go through the world, but with your heart in the divine.